Ladies and gentlemen, this is this is historic duels that put the wild waste to shame by the channel BlueJay. Yes, another BlueJay video. I did already one, I think. We've all seen the movies. Two cowboys meet at sundown across the street from one another, hands hovering anxiously above their holsters as a tumbleweed bounces by and a distant flutist plays suspenseful music. Okay, so I guess these are BlueJay is something like a salmonella type channel, so I'm guessing this is gonna be some weird type of events, but I guess we'll see. Remember, if you like my reaction, don't forget to subscribe so I know which type of videos to react to more. Check out the reaction Sunday, there's a link in the description. Check out the cards, check out the cards, and yeah, let's read it.
Like taxes, they hit you when you least expect it and usually lead to some sort of criminal threat. Unlike today, where death threats can be made from the safety of your couch, the people of the past didn't have the luxury of the internet to keep their murderous desires at bay. Instead, they resorted to a good old-fashioned duel to settle their differences. This glorious practice sent a strong message that no matter how big or small, any problem can be solved honorably with a little elbow grease and murder. But while dueling is no longer available today, don't you worry, champ, we have our alternatives. Hey, so actually, I said I didn't want any pickles. Ratio. What's that gonna do? Ow. But for some, a traditional duel can only bring so much excitement. You know how getting stabbed and shot at gets dull after a while. So today, we're gonna explore the stories of those who participated in some of the wackier duels in history. It's well known that the French's two greatest contributions to the world are drinking wine with your pinky out and cartoony murder stories, such as the hot-headed man who headed the headhunt after beheading the head of state while heedlessly spearheading his headless demise. But reigns of terror aside, the French are legendary for their use of duels to settle their disagreements, everything from political differences to whose mustache best represents a kick-ass roller coaster. So when Monsieur de Grandpré and Monsieur de Pique found out they had both been seeing the same woman, a duel was short to follow. The year is 1808, and the renowned dancer at the Paris Opera, Mademoiselle Tervite, was dating Grandpré, but began to see Le Pique on the side for a little extra baguette. Both men laid claim to the woman, because it's the 1800s and before Beyonce, you could still do that kind of thing, agreeing to a duel to win her heart. But given the grand nature of the prize, so too must the duel itself be elevated.
Oh yeah, the time where, oh, she's a woman, right? I mean, I'm gonna lay claim to her apparently because she can't really decide. It's it's not her fault. So we shall do this with duel. That was the time then. Yeah, so two people are gonna basically stab each other because they like one girl.
Literally. Oh, if it is the woman you want, Monsieur de Pique, a duel you must have. May the 3rd, the crack of dawn, we duel. You're on, Monsieur. Oh putain, I have a balloon race that day. We will make it work! It was decided that the only way to settle the dispute was with a duel in gas balloons. Why must the men fight to the death thousands of feet above Paris? No clue. Maybe they thought the Fire Nation had the right idea. But if anything, we can thank the French for pioneering the steampunk genre. The idea was to take a month to build identical gas balloons, ascend into the air, and take turns firing at each other's balloons with a blunderbuss, a predecessor to the modern shotgun. On May the 3rd, 1808, as crowds gathered for what they thought was a balloon race, both men ascended in their balloons with their seconds who were to act as co-pilots. Traditionally, the role of a second is to mediate the duel, as well as attempt to defuse the situation entirely to avoid bloodshed. In this case, on top of their usual duties, the seconds were literally prepared to die if their guy lost. That or maybe they misinterpreted the term wingman. Say what you will about the French, but they always got their homies' backs. Grandpré, look around. It's so peaceful up here. Kinda makes your whole love triangle problem seem kinda small, huh? Yeah. You know what? You're right. Hey! I think I want to go down!
You dare call me a clown?
No, I said I want to go down!
No, you're going down!
Fuck!
My home! Marie! Marie, are you okay?
Well, at least my honor is restored.
Dear God, there are body parts everywhere!
At about half a mile up, a signal was given and the duel commenced. Le Pique fired first and miraculously missed the giant balloon. Grandpré followed with his shot, which hit its mark, sending Le Pique and his second plummeting to the ground, who were then, quote, dashed to pieces on a housetop. That's the quote. A fitting end, because anyone with aim that
The fuck, how can you, I guess they were really far apart, but how the fuck can you miss a giant balloon if you're gonna, I mean, I get it, the guns weren't that accurate at the time, but still, holy shit. This is just fucked up, man. Since at the time where people like, okay, for smallest thing, we shall do, like, it's like, getting stabbed is like nothing. The pain alone. I guess they didn't know at the time, like, they just know that this is the honorable thing that people do. It's like a cultural thing, right? So fuck it. It's just like normal thing. Okay, let's just stab each other. Probably never gotten stabbed before, but once they got stabbed, I guess they at the time just replay their all the decisions. Like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have asked to duel, because this is like casual thing. Oh, we shall duel, and everybody just watch, and it's like a legal thing. Like, what the fuck? You're gonna duel, stab each other, shot each other. There's duel thing, right? Where they, I guess, look away from each other, walk after some certain count, and then just turn around and shoot each other. That's somehow duel. Like, what the fuck? Russian roulette type of shit. Like, who shoots first, I guess, wins. Another guy dies, I guess. What the fuck?
That bad is bound to be a nuisance at urinals and thus deserves to die. It should be noted that the authenticity of the story is a little questionable. The earliest record of the story that I could find was in a British newspaper a few months after the fact. It's also mentioned in a book by a proclaimed authority on duels. I even went as far as to ask a duelist historian about it, who said while he doesn't necessarily doubt it to be true, he has no reason to be certain it isn't apocryphal. So this story gets filed under, it may not have happened, but the world's more fun believing it did. So anyway, whether or not Grumpré actually ended up with Tirvit is unknown, but I like to imagine he realized that if he should love anyone, is the one willing to put his life on the line so that his bro can get laid. So what could possibly follow up Balloon Tower Defense France Edition? That's right, the French again. Back during the French Restoration, there existed a lot of tension between the former soldiers of Napoleon's army and the bright and shiny Royal Guard. And considering the French tend to be quite honest and direct with their thoughts, quarrels are rather expected. Which shouldn't be too surprising. It's such a problem that they literally developed a career dedicated to silence. One such quarrel occurred when Colonel Babier Dufay trod on the toes of the young Captain Raoul de Vere of the Royal Guard and insulted his cockade. Get your mind out of the gutter, it's a hat ribbon. But apparently in 19th century France, mocking a glorified knot was akin to spitting on an orphan, because Raoul was so insulted that only blood could remedy such a dishonor. He challenged Dufay to a duel, offering up the rapier, sword, or pistol as the weapon of choice, whichever Dufay preferred. This surprised the colonel, who was all like, "Oh shit, so you've mastered all these?" To which Raoul responded, no, I'm 18. Seeing as how Dufay wasn't a fan of Fortnite, he wasn't all that interested in murdering children that day. But as he began to walk away, Raoul placed his hand on the colonel's cheek, which sounds really touching at first, until he realized that's just fancy olden talk for giving him the old airplane treatment. And thus, a duel with rapiers commenced. They faced off in the street, where the more experienced Dufay proceeded to easily disarm Raoul 4 times. Okay, stop. No, down. Put it down, boy. This is pathetic. I'm not an assassin. You have not bested me yet, good sir.
What a fucking idiot, right? I mean, I get it. This is my honor. I must fight. You're looking at someone who's experienced, right? 18-year-olds, obviously, by yes, testosterone running high, not thinking clearly. What the fuck?
Okay, fine. You hell-bent on a fight to the death? You insulted my cockade! Jesus Christ. Okay, let's make things interesting. Apparently, 4 consecutive disarms wasn't enough to solidify a victor, so Dufay proposed that they should, and I'm not making this up, tie their left arms together, enter the back of a coach, and stab each other to death with daggers. Because you know what they say, if you can't win with a sword 4 times, try Fast and Furious with knives. This was thought to be the perfect solution, as it would ensure no one could escape. So the seconds took over for the carriage driver and began driving their pre-routed 2 laps around the Place de Carousel, and if there's anyone I feel most sorry for, it's them.
Wait till you see my spin move. I made this.
Not just that, this is risky shit. Like, what if somebody missed and some guy just, I guess, pierced through this carriage and hit one of these guys with some kind of a sword, the knife thing? Wouldn't they be like, oh fuck me, let's just stay close to the horse? I'd rather risk getting, shit on my face by a horse rather than, getting stabbed in my back. And all the pedestrians are walking around like, the screaming, like, what the fuck was that?
myself. Not the cocaine. Rest now.
So did Raoul finally catch his break, redeeming his honor solely by the insult to his cockade and numerous disarmaments? No. No, the lad was very dead. Dufay also appeared to be dead at first, having been stabbed 4 times in the chest, but he ultimately recovered from his wounds. Some accounts claim that he later died from his injuries, but the majority of the sources I consulted state otherwise. Plus, as we all know, it takes 37 stabs in the chest to kill a man. So if we learned any valuable lessons from this encounter, it's, Moving on from France, we have a story that takes place in the other...
Well, we did learn something. Don't challenge somebody who's experienced than you. Don't be a moron. Be smarter. Otherwise, obviously, this is not a video game. This is not some movie where David versus Goliath. David is not going to win in real life, right? Goliath will slap the shit out of him. So basically somebody's experienced, then you don't challenge them.
Side of the English Channel. On a cold winter's evening in 1765, the two cousins, neighbors, and friends, Lord William Byron and William Shaworth, were enjoying their weekly dinner at the Star and Garter Tavern in London. It started off pleasant enough, just two blokes enjoying a chinwag, having a laugh, British things. But as the wine continued to run, so too did their mouths. A conversation began on the proper way to hang birds after they were shot, which soon transitioned into whose estate held the most game birds. But little did they know, they were both Redditors at heart, and what began as some harmless boasting rapidly escalated as neither side would back down. You see, Byron, at my estate, we roll the wings up like crescent rolls and hang the bird from the claws. Well, it only makes sense coming from an estate like yours. What do you mean by that? Oh, only just that you obviously lack proper experience with an estate so devoid of game birds. This coming from the bloke with only 20 pheasants on his estate. 29? And please, you don't have more than a handful of quail in your brush. Good sir, my estate is brimming with quail, along with dozens upon dozens of red-legged partridges. You have as many partridges as you have admirers, you wazzock. Meanwhile, I've got 18 capercaillie roaming my backyard. I've got 17 ostriches. Yes, 17 ostriches that run circles around your pathetic capercaillie. 14 pterodactyls! My estate has 14 pterodactyls flying leagues above your glorified giraffe chickens! Alright, how did everything turn out tonight? Oh, wonderful. Say, could you show us to a room? The argument escalated to the point where they drew their swords and asked the waiter to show them to an empty room. The waiter returned after hearing a lot of commotion to find Shaworth gravely injured, with Byron's sword driven firmly through his gut, proving once and for all that Lord William Byron had the most birds. Or something like that. Shaworth lived for a full day before he died, during which he claimed that he only regretted that the room that they dueled in was so dimly lit, and thus caused his defeat. Basically the equivalent of saying, I lost because he had a good gaming chair. After his cousin's death, William Byron was put on trial for
God, as he's dying, he's still not backing down. Holy shit. This is some bullshit right here, killing each other because of some claymore, but it's just ego. It's just ego, right? Birds are not the point, it's just fucking ego.
Murder before the House of Lords, during which they asked him, are you guilty of the felony of murder? To which he responded, nah fam, and so they found him guilty of manslaughter instead. While normally you expect people to regret their stupid decisions, Byron proudly mounted the sword that slew his friend in his bedchamber, and later would earn the nickname, the Wicked Lord. He ultimately got off with just a small fine, showing that as long as the honor of bird lovers is at stake, and you happen to be a lord, you absolutely can put a price on human life.
Yeah.
Oh, hey Life Lesson Leopard, what wisdom do you have for us today? Dwell not on the grievances past, for that which festers blooms with thorns, and those whose minds dwell to the last shall find their doom, this leopard warns. Okay. What, you want money? You want to keep those wings? Jesus, okay, here. I could have taken them. What was that? 10 out of 10 stars.
Man, this channel is epic. I love this shit. This is definitely Salmonella type channel who, finds really ridiculous tales. I'm loving this channel so far. Man, this was really good. This is one of the newer video. Holy shit, this is just from, I guess 15 days ago, right? Yeah. This is one of the latest videos. Holy shit, this channel is definitely growing. Alright people, that was historic duels that put the Wild West to shame, definitely, by the channel on BlueJay. At least Wild West had real intentions behind their duel, money or something, not just some stupid shit. If you like my reaction, don't forget to like, subscribe, check out the reaction, there's a link in the description, check out the cards, and yeah, I'll see you next time.